Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Sophie and today's video is going to be another episode of continuing all the book series I'm currently in the middle of. So before I get into the video, please remember to like the video if you enjoyed it and subscribe to my channel for more bookish content. I primarily read fantasy, thriller and romance books and I post videos every Sunday. So as I said, this is another episode of continuing book series I'm currently in the middle of. My goal for the end of the year is to really catch up and finish out a load of series I'm in the middle of. I have a really terrible habit of starting series and then never carrying on or taking too long to carry on. So you've got 4 book series to continue in this reading vlog. The first one is going to be Flamefall by Rosaria Munda. This is the second book in the Fireborn series, which I started earlier this year, so I'm hoping to get rounded out hopefully by the end of the year or early next year. Then we have Wildside by Elsie Silver. This is the third book in the Rosehill series. I didn't love the first one all that much. I gave it a 3.5 star. I really loved the second one, so I'm intrigued as to where I stand on this one. I do really enjoy Elsie Silver as an author. She's a really easy read, so I'm excited to get to this one. And the fourth book came out in September as well, so I can read this one and then jump straight into the fourth and final book and round out that series. I then have the third Finlay Donovan book. So I reread the first 2 books earlier this year to carry on this series, as there is another, this is a 6-book series this, so I'm hoping to carry on and finish that when it finally finishes publishing, I guess. And then finally we have the All Pair Affair by Tessa Bailey. This is the second book in the Big Shots series. This isn't currently fully published, there's only 3 books out at the moment, but I would like to catch up, ready for when those final books do come out so I can read them straight away. So the first book I'm going to be reading for this vlog is going to be Flamefall by Rosaria Munda. Hey guys, so I'm just coming in with a reading update for this vlog. I am currently just over 200 pages through Flamefall by Rosaria Munda. This is the second book in the Aurelian Cycle trilogy. In the first book, Fireborn, we follow 2 main characters, Annie and Leo. Leo is the son, sort of in hiding. He is the son of the previous regime, essentially. So his family were in charge and there was a rebellion and all his family were killed. He was spared and he basically sort of went into hiding. And Annie is an orphan that was basically victim of the regime that Leo's family implemented. There is a system where you are tested on your abilities. So they are both golds, they are dragon riders, and it's a very sort of tiered class systems we have. I think it's iron is unskilled, bronze is like low skills, silver is like important but not as important as the golds kind of thing. I think it's sort of, that's essentially the system, and they are both tested to be golds. Now in the previous regime it was like the upper class people had all the power, and if you were sort of like a lowly peasant you had nothing, even if you were intelligent and things like that. The new regime is essentially giving everyone a fair shot, and just because you're born into a sort of aristocratic family doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to end up being a gold. In the first book, Leo and Annie are training and competing to be the first rider, which is essentially like the head of the military of dragons. It turns out that some of Leo's family actually survived and they are out to basically reclaim their kingdom. So that was the first book, and it had a very explosive ending which pick right up in this book. So this one is really good so far. The first book I really enjoyed, I gave it a 4-star rating, and I think this one is kind of heading in the same way. We're thrown straight back into the action, there's no time jump or anything like that, and we're back with our characters and the implications of everything that's happened in the first book, because a lot went on in the first book, and so far a lot has happened in this book as well. Where I left it, we are sort of in the middle of a battle scene which is so well written. Like, Rosaria Munda really does it really well. It really feels like you're on these dragons' backs with these characters, flying into battle with them, because it's so detailed and so well done. And yeah, it's just really good so far. I'm really enjoying the world. Like, I know it sounds kind of like a typical YA fantasy, but the dragons are just done so well and it's just really good. I do think that even though it sounds like a typical YA fantasy, it is still unique in its own way. I think that it's really well written, and like the dragons are an integral part of this book. I do wish we had a little bit more of them, but I understand they're obviously not involved in all the politics, and these dragons don't talk either, like in some other books as well. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this one so far. I'm absolutely flying through it. It's such a quick read because it's just so gripping as well. I'm really excited to see where we're going to go. I do think that our 2 main characters are kind of drifting off into different sides, I guess, of this conflict. I mean, obviously Leo is sort of up against his family really, and you can see he's really conflicted about what to do here, and it's not as simple cut as he's going to take his family's side. Like, there's some things that have happened here that you didn't really expect him to do, and Annie is like, you know, she loves Leo and she really wants what's best for him, and she's maybe thinking that maybe this regime isn't the best. Like, she's sort of, it lifted her up out of poverty, but she's maybe thinking, is it actually a good thing? Have they just swapped sort of one dictator for another dictator kind of thing? Yeah, this is really good, like really political as well. If you love a good political fantasy, I'd highly recommend this series. But yeah, really good so far. I'm gonna absolutely fly through the rest of this book, so I'm excited to get back to reading. Hey guys, so I'm just checking in as I did finish reading Flamefall by Rosaria Munda. This was really good. I'm gonna give this one a 4-star rating, the same as the first book, maybe a 4.5. This ending was just completely explosive. Yet again, she's ended it on a really good note, and I'm really excited to read the third book. I'm really upset though, because my library, they are ordering the new copies of these, and this one is the only copy in my local area, and they're ordering more. But the third book I've reserved, but they don't actually currently have any copies. They're all on order, so I'm gonna have to wait a little bit of time to get to it, and I'm actually really gutted because that ending was insane, like actually insane, and I'm worried for our characters, and like so many twists I didn't see coming, and like looking back on it, I should have picked up on them. They were dropped throughout, but this was so good. Such an incredible series as well, and yeah, I'm really excited to get to the third one eventually. I hope my library gets copies of it soon. But yeah, absolutely incredible, highly recommend, and I definitely think this inspired Fourth Wing. I really do, and I want people to read this series because this definitely deserves the hype that Fourth Wing gets. But this was absolutely incredible, and I'm very excited to carry on with this series. Hey guys, so I'm just coming to wrap up the next book for this vlog, which I have read in its entirety, which is The Au Pair Affair by Tessa Bailey. Is it au pair or au pair? Au pair affair? We'll say au pair affair. So this one is following Tallulah and Burgess. So we met them very briefly in the very first book in this series, Fangirl Down. Tallulah is a friend of Josephine and Burgess is a friend of Wells. So Burgess is 37 years old and he's a ice hockey player, and he is a divorced parent of a child. He's divorced and he has a child who he shares custody with his ex-wife, and Tallulah is a marine biologist student who is looking for a job basically and somewhere to live. So in Fangirl Down they meet, and Burgess offers her a job to be the au pair to his 11 or 12-year-old daughter. So Tallulah takes the job, and at the very beginning of this book it is Tallulah moving in, or not moving in this case. She feels a bit uncomfortable due to past things that have happened, and Burgess kind of like talks her around and she's comfortable becoming the au pair, and it's basically about their relationship developing. So like I said, he's 37 years old and she is 26, so there is an age gap, and obviously he has a child, so it's about the relationship blossoming between the both of them, and also like Tallulah sort of inserting herself into this family dynamic. As usual with Tessa Bailey books, this was also quite smutty. I was kind of like skimming bits of it because I don't know, I kind of find like once you've read a Tessa Bailey smut scene, you've kind of read them all. But I did give this one a 3.5-star rating. So I did like Burgess and Tallulah as a couple. I did think this book dragged on a little bit near the end, so we kind of took a bit of time for them to be comfortable in a relationship with each other. Obviously because of the situation where Burgess is kind of Tallulah's boss, obviously with her being the au pair, and how his daughter Lisa is kind of wanting Burgess and her mother to get back together, and there's just sort of things going on there. And it was really nice to see Tallulah sort of help Burgess with his relationship with his daughter, because he doesn't really know how to like bond with her, and like he thinks that she doesn't want him to be interested in anything that she's doing, when actually it's the opposite. Like she really looks up to her dad obviously, and Tallulah kind of like gives him advice on how to better the relationship between the two of them. Obviously Tallulah and Burgess, they were quite cute together. I didn't like love them as a couple, but like I didn't hate them either. I just kind of thought some of the ways that Burgess treated Tallulah, especially like in the third act breakup, just a bit shitty, and I understand kind of why he did it, but it was also just a bit of a shitty thing to do, and I understand why she was really reluctant to come round, and I do think she gave in to him a little bit easily. And there's a whole sort of plotline in here as well where Tallulah's trying to get over some trauma that she went through when she was a little bit younger with another guy, and it kind of seems like she quite quickly got over that. So she made a whole thing about not wanting to live with Burgess because of this reason, and not feeling comfortable doing things and things like that, and then they broke up and she just kind of like throws herself into suddenly being better, I guess, or like I don't know, it was just a bit odd, and I was just kind of like, it's only really relevant to the plot, so it was just a bit annoying. So I feel like that could have been developed more throughout the book, and their relationship is her coming into her own a bit, and we did see bits of that, and we did see Burgess kind of like help her with that, but ultimately it was just quite quickly resolved at the end. And then Burgess has an injury as well that he's refusing to get seen, and it's just kind of of like, you're 37 years old, come on. He basically doesn't want to retire, and he thinks this injury is going to cause him to have to retire. And I don't know, I just kind of feel like him in general was just quite annoying at times. Not too annoying, it was just like little things like that. I was just kind of like, oh, for God's sake, like they really didn't communicate very well. And yeah, it was just a bit, yeah. I think a 3.5 star is a fair rating for this book. Like, it was good, it just wasn't great, and I definitely didn't enjoy it as much as Fangirl Down. Fangirl Down is definitely my favourite of the two. To be honest with you, a lot of what happens in here is actually revealed on the back, so none of it was really a surprise. But yeah, I don't know, it was nice to see cameos from Josephine and Wells in here as well, and I think the setup for the next book, I'm quite interested in that one actually, and the setup for this was quite interesting in this book. But yeah, Tallulah and Burgess, 3.5 stars I think is a fair rating. It wasn't really anything special, but it was cute, and I did like how the ice hockey didn't take over the book either. I mean, not that I'm complaining. I love the Elle Kennedy Off Campus and Briar U series, so I do love an ice hockey romance. I feel like that wasn't really explored much in here either. But like, we went to one game and then it was just kind of like mentioned offhand every now and again. I think there was just a lot of miscommunication, and the whole storyline with Lisa wanting her parents to get back together, again, that was quite resolved quite quickly. It was all resolved quite quickly, considering it was supposed to be, you know, like the reason that Tallulah and Burgess broke up was various reasons. You know, Burgess pushed her away, and then he felt torn between Tallulah and his daughter wanted her parents to get back together, and there was a whole thing there. And then, you know, the ex-wife is supposed to be jealous, but then that turns into nothing. It was just kind of like, there was a lot introduced that then wasn't really resolved. And I mean, it is a romance book, I'm not really expecting anything too much from it. But yeah, 3.5 rating I think is fair for this one. So yeah, that is another series I'm catching up on. I've got the fourth book in the series that's actually just come out, and I'm getting it for Christmas. So I've got the third one, and then I can read the fourth one when I get that for Christmas. But yeah, I'm catching up on this series, which I'm really pleased with. Hey guys, so I have a reading update for you. So I have started and finished the final books for this vlog. So I have read Wild Side by Elsie Silver, and this one we follow Reese and Tabitha, both of whom we have met in the previous books. At the very beginning of this book, Tabitha and Reese meet when Tabitha's sister Erica is renting a house off of Reese. Erica is a recovering drug addict, and she has a son called Milo, and Tabitha really doesn't want to give up on her sister and really wants to help her start afresh while she's going through this drug addiction. And she rents a house off of Reese, and that's how they meet. And then we fast forward a couple of years later. Unfortunately, Erica is now dead, and Tabitha has come to basically come and look after Milo and sort out Erica's things. And then it turns out actually that Erica has left sort of, I guess, guardianship of Milo to Reese. Tabitha is absolutely furious because as far as she was concerned, Reese was sort of like a no good, you know, didn't really help Erica out at all. And Reese is also very confused why Tabitha is so upset by this, because as far as he was concerned, Tabitha had absolutely nothing to do with Erica and Milo and basically washed her hands of him. So obviously Erica has been kind of playing them against each other without realising. So it turns out that Erica had a bit of a crush on Reese, and she knew that Reese did like Tabitha and wanted to keep them apart. So that is what has happened here. So these two end up getting married. There's a couple of reasons. So it's to ensure that Milo can stay with Tabitha, because obviously Reese is his legal guardian, and also because Reese is having problems with his visa. So this is set in Canada, and Reese travels back to Florida as he is a professional wrestler called Wild Side. So they get married, and their relationship kind of blossoms from there, really. So we explore sort of the trials that come with guardianship of a young child and Reese's career, and just Tabitha also trying to come to terms with her grief, as well as Milo and Reese as well. They're obviously all grieving Erica as well. I gave this one a 4-star rating, 3.5 4-star. I think for me this is on the same level of enjoyment as Wild Love, the first book. Wild Eyes is my definite favourite one, and I think these sort of two are first, and the third one, which is this one, are definitely tied for sort of like second place. I just couldn't really like get behind the whole wrestling aspect. Like, it's not really something that I'm personally interested in. So when we were talking about things like that and we were focusing on that, I just kind of didn't really care what was going on, and it was just kind of, I understand that it's like a performance that he's putting on, but it did seem quite cringy in parts, and I was just kind of like, I don't know, like he's calling one of his opponents like, he's called William, he's calling him like Little Willie, and it's just kind of like, it was kind of funny the first time, and then like when it's the 5th time that it happens, I'm just kind of like, can we like get a new joke? Can we move on with this joke? So like, it was really good to read. I did really enjoy it. As ever with Elsie Silver's writing, it really pulls you in and really explores some like more serious those topics as well. Like I said in this one, in case it's grief and drug addiction and everything that comes along with that. I did really like them as a couple. I did like that there was no sort of third act breakup, because with this book it took them so long to get together. Like we were 70% of the way through before we got like any sort of like smutty scenes really. So I'm kind of glad we didn't have a third act breakup, because that would have just really frustrated me, because I wasn't really so interested in the wrestling aspect and things like that. I just wanted to focus on other things in this book. So it's not a 5-star for me, but I still really enjoyed it, and I would highly recommend this series to you if you're interested in like a romance series. Elsie Silver is a fantastic author, and all of her series are kind of like interlinked as well. This is the third one in the Rose Hill series, so I've just got one more left to read. But yeah, I did really enjoy this one. I really enjoyed seeing other characters from the other books as well. Like we had a lot of Ford and Rosie in here, and we had a little bit of Skylar and Best as well, and it was nice to see everyone sort of like becoming friends. And like obviously Reese joins the bowling team, and it's nice to see like a good male friendship circle, so like he has support as well, even though he struggles to open up to people sometimes. Like no one knows apart from Tabitha, and he told Erica and she kind of like took the piss, and nobody knows that he is a professional wrestler. So when he tells everyone, they're all like, oh my god, that's so cool. It's not the reaction that he's expecting. So I kind of like that there was like a real supportive like male friendship group as well. You don't often see that in books as well. But yeah, this one was cute, 4-star read, glad I read it, and can't wait to move on to the final book in this series, which I'm kind of interested how that one's going to go down. So we had like a little snippet of them in here, and I'm sort of like, this is intriguing. But yeah, I really enjoyed this one. I have also read Finley Donovan Jumps the Gun by Elle Cosimano. This is the third book in the Finley Donovan series. I didn't realise this was actually going to be like a 6-book series. Like that's so long for like a thriller, cozy thriller series. So I also can't tell you what is happening in this one because there will be spoilers. But in the very first book, Finley Donovan is a struggling writer, and she is meeting with her, I guess her agent, in a cafe, and she's talking through a concept for a thriller book that she had, and the terminology that they use, and obviously the way that she's talking about this book. Somebody on the other table mistakes her for a hitwoman, puts in her bag a name and a number, and basically hires her to murder her husband. And then Finley gets involved in this like murder for hire. There's a whole thing with like the mob and things like that, and it just goes a bit crazy. And then we also have like 2 love interests, and it's kind of a bit all over the place, this series, but it is actually quite funny to read and quite enjoyable. I think if you take it for what it is, it's just like you have to kind of suspend your disbelief with a lot of the things that go on in this book, because it's just like some of the things that happen in the second book you're just kind of like, and even in this book, to be honest with you. I'm going to give this one a 3-star rating. I think this is definitely personally my least enjoyable one so far. I do think that where the plot went in this one, we just kind of were wasting a bit of time, and it was just to reveal a bad guy that we could have revealed in another way, I think. So Finley and Vero end up basically spending a week at this like police citizenship training academy. It's basically a police training academy, but citizens can go to it and learn a bit more about the police force. So they learn about like discovering a body and like police investigations and things like that. And basically the reason that we did this was that so the author could reveal a bad guy. We have this person in here called Easy Clean. Now there is a women's forum where these people post basically their husbands that they want to be murdered. Basically when Finley is trying to find out who some of these people are, who's behind the forum, etc., Easy Clean comes to light, and she's trying to investigate who this person is, because the mob wants this person gone, and she's trying to discover who this person is. And we do find out in this book who that person is. We have a few suspects. Finley suspects a few people, and we just kind of follow her, ticking them off the list essentially, and then it's revealed who this person is. And I just kind of feel like this whole book was just a bit silly really, and a bit of a waste of time. Like, to be honest with you, I got like halfway through and I was like, should I just DNF this? I was just really not sure whether to carry on, because I just thought, I didn't realise it's now a 6-book series and we're only halfway and we're really not really getting anywhere. I mean, you suspend your disbelief, like I said, and it is just funny and it's a fun time. It's not like a serious thriller, but I was sort of thinking even suspending your disbelief and going along for the ride, this was getting quite silly even for that. And yeah, the whole concept of them being at the police academy, it was just like, it was really just a big waste of time. And I think most of this just could have not happened, and we could have just inserted the end where we revealed who this person was in another book maybe. So I'm going to carry on with this series. I'm going to read the 4th one, and then I'm going to see whether I'm actually going to continue with it, because I did really enjoy the first 2. do, and I think this I'm hoping maybe this was just like a little blip in the series and then it does carry on and get better. But I know that a lot of people have given up on this series because there's been quite a few gaps between the books and they are just kind of all over the place a little bit really. So I am glad I read it. Like, as ever, Finley and Vero together are just absolutely hilarious. I do kind of like now that we are just down to one love interest, because the love triangle was getting a little bit silly, so I'm glad we are down to one love interest and we can focus a bit more on that, because even I was getting a bit fed up of Finley going back and forth between these two men. I'm interested to see what happens with the actual storyline, like the mob and things like that. If this next book is like this one and just a bit of a waste of time, I think I'm just going to call it quits, because I'm not that invested that I'm going to lose sleep over if I don't find out what's going on in this series. Like, it's fun, but to be honest with you, I don't really think about it when I'm not in this world, kind of thing. So I think a 3.5, maybe even a 3-star is fair for this book. It's definitely not my favourite, but like I said, I'm glad I've read it. I am catching up on this series, so I am going to read the 4th one and then we'll make a decision whether to finish out this series or not. So yeah, that's those 2 books read. So that is some series that I have now caught up on. So that's going to be it for this video. Comment down below if you've read any of these books, especially if you've read the Finley Donovan series. Like, if you're ahead of me, is it worth continuing? Please remember to like this video if you enjoyed it and subscribe to my channel for more bookish content, and I'll see you in the next one, guys. Bye.